I'm Blake X, and this is another Nuclear Reaction. What's up, survivors? So we are back for another Vault reaction. The first one I did was Linkin Park, Somewhere I Belong. Now today, we're getting to Radiohead, the song High and Dry. So there are two things that I want to say to you guys before I jump into this. The first is that The Vault is a new series of videos on my channel where I check out music that I haven't heard in years. And then I still do my usual review and lyrical breakdown after the reaction itself. The point of these is to rediscover music for myself and see how much I like it today compared with many years ago. It's also a bit of a nostalgia trip as well, so that's always fun. But genuine first-time reactions will always be the majority of what I do on this channel. So if you prefer those, check out one of the many hundreds of them that I've done already, or wait for a new one that's coming very soon. So there's plenty more new content for you guys on the way. And the second thing is that this is going to be kind of a difficult song for me. I just recently lost one of my best friends, and I'm still struggling with the grief, as you could well imagine. And this was one of his favorite songs. One of my strongest memories is of hanging out with him, actually, when we were all at a park in New Jersey. And just sitting there hanging out at night, having a few beers. And he brought his acoustic guitar with him and just played and sang the song as we all hung out. And, thinking back now, that was probably among the best memories of my life, because it was such a peaceful night, and it was something so simple, but it was something so enjoyable, and it's probably one of my best memories of my friend. We actually filmed part of it, but I'm going to keep that personal, because it's just, I don't want to in any way exploit his memory, and it's just a very personal thing for me. So, but yeah, he was really into that. He used to go play guitar at cafes. He really was into singing. He was into songwriting. He made some original songs. He was very talented, and the world is a lesser place without him, but such is life, it happens. And so the last time that I ever heard this song was when he sang and played it about 4 or 5 years ago. And prior to that, I think I was like 17 or 18 when I last heard the official version of this. So it's going to be a very difficult and bittersweet walk down memory lane for me. And I knew that this was really going to be a challenge going into it. But my thing is that I always want to be real and really honest with you guys. Honesty is very important to me on this channel, and so I'm pushing forward with this reaction, and we're going to get into what the song is talking about after I listen to the song itself. I'll give my personal perspective and opinion, the usual. And if Vault reactions are something that you like, let me know in the comments. I do have some ideas for more that I want to do. Okay, I have the lyrics pulled up here. I'm aware that there's an official music video, but I'm choosing not to react to it because I'm kind of afraid that it'll end up getting blocked, because I've never reacted to Radiohead on this channel before, and I know obviously they're a big, more popular band, so to me it's a risk that I don't want to take, so I hope you guys don't mind. I'm going to be checking out a lyric video, and we'll see, man. It's been years since I've heard this, so I need a refresher on this song. But before we get into it, just the usual. Patreon.com/nuclearreactions. You can join for as low as $2 a month. Get access to all kinds of exclusive bonus content. The merch store, Yale Nuclear Shop. The second brand new merch store, Death Urge Clothing. And the Facebook group, The Mushroom Cloud. Links to all these things will be in the description beneath this video. They're all great ways to show your love and support for the channel and to enhance your experience as part of the Nuclear family. All right, High and Dry by Radiohead. Let's jump in, man. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Jumps in a week, bet you think that's pretty clever, don't you, boy? Flying on your motorcycle, watching all the ground beneath you drop. You kill yourself for recognition, kill yourself to never ever stop. Another mirror, you're turning into something you are not.
Okay, just a quick pause. Some thoughts that I want to offer on this. This was one song that I just never paid attention to the lyrics, so it's going to be really interesting getting into the song meaning, because I never thought about what the song meant, And, years ago, before I became more open-minded, I think this is a song that I would not have cared so much to listen to. Like, when I say I've heard this song before, it was not really voluntary. And I never developed an appreciation for it until I heard my friend play it and sing it himself. Prior to that, This was just in a category of music that I would just dismiss out of hand as being, radio mainstream music and, beneath my interest, because I'm a hardcore metalhead and, just silly shit, things that I find to be very close-minded and immature. So I'm glad that I developed and grew as a person and as a music lover, and now I can really respect and appreciate something like this. And, I still have one best friend who thankfully is still on this earth, who likes Radiohead. So, now I can probably appreciate this with him in the near future. And I very much look forward to that. But yeah, I'm very interested in these lyrics so far. So far, it's touching upon something really powerful and really true to life. So, so far, so good, man. Let's keep it going. I really do like the guitar in this.
Drying up in conversation, you'll be the one who cannot talk. All your insides fall to pieces. You just sit there wishing you could still make love. They're the ones who hate you when you think you got the world all so stars. They're the ones who spit at you.
Yeah.
You will be the one.
These lyrics are on point.
Screaming out. Don't leave me high. Don't leave me dry. Don't leave me high. Don't leave me dry.
Yeah, this is a very well done song, man. This song I think is much better actually than Creep, which is obviously their most well-known song. Well, maybe not to Radiohead fans, I honestly don't know, but just to general people who listen to music, I think it's their signature, most well-known song that gets played all the time. And I maybe I'll react to that again in the future because I haven't heard that in a while either. But Creep I never really cared for that much as a song. Although I did like the rendition that Tom Ellis did of it in Lucifer. That was good. But yeah, this as a song, as a Radiohead song, I think is much, much better than Creep. I'm really enjoying this. This is very, it's very soulful and it's very emotional without trying too hard, if that makes sense. It's very simple and to the point, but still has a lot of emotional weight to it, and I think it's very well done, and these lyrics, once again, I can't wait to dive into them because they say something so true, and we're going to talk about it afterward, but for now, let's finish this up.
It's the best thing that you ever had, the best thing that you ever had. It's the best thing that you ever had, the best thing you have had has gone away. So don't leave me high, don't leave me dry, don't leave me high, don't leave me dry, don't leave me high.
Yeah, I really like the guitar in this, man. That's the driving force behind the whole song, as far as I'm concerned.
Don't leave me dry.
man, that's a heavy song, man. Maybe more so for me because of the context and my memories, but yeah, to me it's very, very heavy. Not heavy sound wise. You guys know what I mean. Heavy on the spirit. Yeah, I really like that song. I think it's a song that a lot of people probably wouldn't pay attention to if they're not fans of this band, and probably haven't paid attention to. And especially because it was played on the radio a lot back in the day, I think that people I think the radio is both a good and a bad thing for music, because on one hand, you get to hear some songs that you love more often, but on the other, when you hear a song on the radio a lot, especially growing up, I think that people are more likely to kind of filter it out and just sort of tune it out as something they've heard a million times before, and to them it kind of loses its value in a certain way because it's just overplayed in their own minds. For me, of course, this was refreshing because I hadn't heard this in years. But yeah, this was a very well done song. I really liked Tom York, I believe is his name. I've listened to some of his solo stuff actually over the past few years, and I've liked that. His voice is very good, and the guitar was very good. And once again, there was a lot of emotional power in this song, and that was what I liked the absolute most. And it's also funny to me that not funny to me, but it's like I find it interesting that Radiohead is one of those bands that seems to get a lot of hate, and I don't think it's deserved at all. Like, there's something that I call the hate wagon, and it's basically where people just all, kind of pile on the hatred for a band because it's like trendy to do so. There's always those bands you see online where it just becomes a trend to sort of bash them and, talk shit about them, and it's so stupid to me. I just think it's so ridiculous. But Radiohead, at least in the past few years or so, from what I've seen and heard, they do seem to be one of those bands that generate a lot of, dislike and dismissal, and I just don't get that at all. But anyway, people are people, I remember I was with my friend, both of my best friends actually, and we were all at a bar in Battery Park in New York City. This was several years back now, and my friend, the one who's still living, he had a Radiohead shirt on at the time, and this was just like one of those like bro bars, like we knew already that there were going to be some like toxic people in this bar because we were like approaching this bar. We were just looking for some place just to grab a few beers, a couple shots of whiskey, couple beers. And as we're approaching the bar, we see like these 3 or 4 bouncers just carrying this huge ass guy out the door. The guy is completely unconscious, has just like blood coming out of his nose, and they're carrying him out of there. We kind of all stopped and we looked at one another. And we're like, okay, well, let's go in, let's do this. But it was like that kind of bar, So as we're sitting there, my friend went up to get like another beer or another shot or something up to the bar. And this guy, like, apparently thought that he was wearing the Radiohead shirt ironically, And, he was like, there's no way you really listen to that band. You got to be wearing that shirt as a joke. And my friend's like, no, I actually love the band. And the guy's just like, get the fuck out of here, man. But, it's like, it's that kind of mentality that I've seen and heard, over the years about this band. And I just don't get it at all. Once again, I think it's completely undeserved. I think this is a talented band, and, I don't care if you're a metalhead or what, appreciate good music. That's all I got to say. I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but, opinion is one thing and shitting all over a band is another, So let's get to the lyrics now before I ramble on too much. 2 jumps in a week. I bet you think that's pretty clever, don't you, boy? Flying on your motorcycle, watching all the ground beneath you drop. Kill yourself for recognition. Kill yourself to never ever stop. You broke another mirror. You're turning into something you are not. Wow, that's a powerful verse, man. Don't leave me high, don't leave me dry. Drawing up in conversation, you will be the one who cannot talk. All your insides fall to pieces. You just sit there wishing you could still make love. They're the ones who'll hate you when you think you've got the world all sussed out. They're the ones who'll spit at you. You'll be the one screaming out. It's the best thing that you ever had. The best thing you ever had is gone away. Man, that verse right there. You broke another mirror. You're turning into something you are not. That's, oh man, that is such a relevant line today, for so many people. So, I think this is about losing someone that you love to fame, and more than that, fame that changes the other person from who they used to be. And they start putting on a facade and losing the values that they once held so closely to themselves, and just become surrounded by a crowd of people who just don't really care about the person, who are just there to take advantage and to exploit them. they're the ones who hate you when you think you've got the world all sussed out. They're the ones who'll spit at you. And, on a certain level, as sad and shameful as it is, I can obviously understand why some people sell out, for lack of a better term. I think the temptations of image and reputation, and most of all money, are very, very, very strong in this materialistic society that we live in. But I guess because friendship to me has played such a hugely important role in my life, I can't imagine casting people by the wayside and just feeling okay with that, I would think that the feeling of loss after you do that would triumph and win out over that other feeling of fleeting excitement that you get over getting recognition and success by whatever means necessary. But then again, all it takes is one look at Facebook to see how people process the idea of friends and friendship these days, So what matters to some people is just a matter of names and numbers to someone else. And they can drop a few friends here or there and pick up a few more somewhere else, like items that you buy at a store, Put a few in your basket, put a few back on the shelf, It's fucking sad, man. And, and of course the currency behind that is often social media itself. But we're not going to get too deeply into that today because I've talked about that quite a few times over the course of this channel. But, this is obviously talking about people who seem to be lovers and partners in this song. But I think that those kinds of relationships get treated the same way today as well, as if they're temporary transactions that can be refunded at any time, But that must be a horrible feeling, man. Like, when you love someone and you've spent a lot of time with them and you know the real them, but you see them giving into this other fake outlet and losing themselves. Like, you see them change right before your eyes. And some part of you realizes that you've just completely lost them, And that must be pretty soul-crushing to experience. And the saddest part is that when that other person crashes and burns someday, they'll turn around and realize they made a terrible mistake, but it's going to be too late. And I think that's also what this song is talking about, because it says, okay, let me put it this way. The first time when it says, don't leave me high, don't leave me dry, I think it's talking about the other person who sees their partner changing, But the next time they have that verse, I think it's talking about the person who changed, Because it says they're the ones who'll spit at you. You'll be the one screaming out, don't leave me high, don't leave me dry. So it comes back around full circle, It's like the saying, man, what goes around comes around. And it's fucking true, as I've said before, people are fickle. And of course, there's the other old saying that money changes people. But really, it doesn't even take money to do that, Like, I've known people that I had considered to be good friends at one point, and, then they just turned around and became completely different, and usually for the most petty or insignificant reasons, right? Like, but the most frequent among them actually seemed to be that person's perceived social status. And again, I think it's very much a side effect of our modern times, where people care more about how other people see them than how they feel about themselves. And it circles back around to, not being in touch with who you are. And, or in the case of this song, losing touch with who you are. And not having enough self-awareness to see the transformation that's happening. Even as you have a partner who can see it clearly. And, but it also, there are certain human instincts that are always a part of us. But they can still be easily repressed, depending upon a lot of outside factors. And one of them is a natural need for companionship, for camaraderie. It's an almost tribal need to band together with like-minded people or kindred spirits that for most people is a part of who we are. And I think we're simultaneously living in a social and cultural environment where that instinct is pushed to the absolute backs of our minds. But you can see that it still does come out in extreme situations, like during periods of tragedy, for example, where you see people reach out to one another and come together. It's there. It is there inside us. But the way that our social and economic and cultural structure works today is that it more often focuses on dividing people instead of bringing them together. A person is raised to believe that they're beholden to their labor and to their individual financial gain instead of to a family or to a circle of friends. I use family as a very fluid kind of word. I'm not speaking super literally. I do think that for some people, it is hurting them overall when they lose the family environment and the family connection. But I also think that family is much more than blood. And for me, my close circle of very good friends that I've known for, hell, coming up on, 20 years almost. Another few years, it'll be about 20 years that I've known most of them. To me, that's my family, I never had a real family. Aside from my mother, the rest of my family basically turned their backs on me. They didn't care. They didn't give a shit. So really, the family that I found, it took me about 14 years of my life to find them. But the family that I found, is my friends. So I use that term very loosely. But whether it's literal blood family, or family in the sense of friends and, your group that you find, it's important, and I think that society today, the way that society functions today, and in some cases the way that it has to function, is much less conducive to finding that family, whatever or whoever that family might be. We see that even in modern relationships, where so many of them are either relationships of convenience, often economic, or they're outright exploitative, literally seeming outwardly like more of a business transaction than any sort of manifestation of actual love or desire for companionship. And this increasing social separation and isolation, really serves to benefit the people in control and power, and you guys all know what's going on now in this country, people getting sick and everything, and that's certainly not helping with the divide. Certainly not helping to bring people together, So to me, completely giving yourself wholly to fame to the point where you're willing to forsake who you are and toss aside all of your original values and commitments, to me, that's a symptom of a much larger societal problem, And it's interesting to me, in a sadly ironic kind of way, that this is probably the song that I'll remember my friend by the most. Because the friendship that our group had, and still does have, is representative of the exact opposite. Exactly because we didn't let ourselves become negatively transformed. We remembered who we are and where we come from. And again, I look back now and I see a really sad kind of irony, like some cruel cosmic joke almost, because, the fact that my friend who's gone now, played this song right when our group was all together. And so he was never gone like the person in the song who changed, but he's still gone all the same, gone from the world. It's really hard, man, And it's, it's really just strange and twisted the way life works sometimes. Because the importance of friendships and relationships is driven home so much harder by this song. Exactly because I understand now what it's like, the full weight and emotional impact of losing someone that you care about. And it's not easy, man. It's not easy. So I think this song probably has one of the most important and overlooked messages of anything I've reacted to lately. And, and you know what I also think? I think that a lot of these people who will so readily change and abandon people at the drop of a hat, as soon as it becomes convenient for them, I think a lot of these people have never really experienced like a seriously healthy and honest relationship, and so they don't even realize the significance or the impact of what they're doing. And like in this song, this might be about a person who had never had someone who actually loved them prior to this relationship, and so they become so jaded and cynical that when it finally does come along, they can't even see it for what it is. So I think this song serves as a great reminder to make the most of your connections with people while they're here, and value them and see their humanity, instead of just seeing them as some kind of passing interaction that you can just toss aside later on, Very good song and very powerful song. So I enjoyed this one. I am going to listen to this one again at some point, and it's a shame that it took me so many years to hear it again. It really is. But there's plenty of Radiohead that I've never heard before, by the way. So if you want me to do another reaction in the future, if you want to make a request, please leave a comment below. I can always put it on the list. And one thing you could also do, if you want to kind of bump up your request, get it ahead of the line, is you could join Tier 4, that's the $80 tier, on patreon.com/nuclearreactions, and put in your request, and that's a way to fast-track your request, make sure that it gets a reaction much more quickly. Otherwise, if I see your comment, I'll put it on the list, and it may take a while, but I will get to it eventually. But yeah, I really enjoyed this song. It was, I'll be honest, it was painful for me to hear, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. So, like I said, bittersweet, And I'm going to miss my friend a lot, but the good times and the music are the two strongest ways that I'm going to remember him and, smile in his memory instead of, being consumed only by pain, and that's what you got to do. You got to move on. You got to move forward. And pain and loss is a part of life, and we all got to go through it. So if you guys are ever going through something, by the way, always feel free to reach out to me. I know I get a lot of messages and I don't have time to see everything, but if I see your message and you really need someone to talk to, I'll try and be there for you. We all got to stick together. We got to take care of one another, and that shit makes the world go round, man. As far as rating for this one goes, it's going to be a silent count for me because this was, a song that I like for many different reasons, one of which is that I actually think it's very well done, but also because of what it means to me and the emotional impact that it has on me. So, silent count for me on this one, but a very good song, and glad that I got the chance to hear it again. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so now. All it takes is one click. Don't forget to hit that bell if you want notifications. Much love and respect to the Nuclear family, and I will catch you all on the next one.